Good day, everyone. Our lesson for today is all about trigonometric ratios of special right triangles, the 45, 45, 90, 30, 60, 90 with sample problems. But before that, don't forget to subscribe and share this video to your classmates and friends and hit the notification bell for more updates. Also, you can find different subjects in this YouTube channel. Just select the playlist section and finally, please do not skip the ads in this video. Thanks! And now let's proceed to our main topic for today, which is all about the trigonometric ratios of special right triangles. Geometry of the 45, 45, 90 triangle. Consider an isosceles right triangle with two sides of length 1. So this one is an isosceles right triangle with equal sides. No? Pag sabi kasing isosceles, meron siyang two equal sides. At yung measurement ng mga sides na yun is 1 and 1. The Pythagorean theorem or using Pythagorean theorem implies that the hypotenuse is of length square root of 2. Tama? Kasi kung gagamit ka ng Pythagorean theorem, that's equal, this is the A, the B, that's letter B and letter C. And the formula for the trigonometric, the Pythagorean theorem is C is equal to the square root of A squared, right, plus B squared. And as we all know, yung A natin is 1, that's A. That's why 1 squared is 1. And then B squared is 1 squared, so we have 1 also. And 1 plus 1 is 2. So we have the square root of 2, which is an irrational number. That's why this is the measurement of the hypotenuse of this triangle with 45 degrees to 45 degrees that are complementary actually, and 190 degrees, a total of 180 degrees. And it is a sample of isosceles right triangle. So this is a 45, 45, 90 at ito yung kanyang mga length, no? Yung kanyang measurement. Okay? So ibig sabihin kung nadadagdagan ito, halimbawa 2, 2, so ibig sabihin madadagdagan din yung measurement ng hypotenuse, no? So kung 2 ito at 2 ito, therefore that is 2 squared plus 2 squared and that's 4 plus 4. Am I right? So 4 plus 4 is 8. So therefore this one is square root of 8. So parang ganon. Ang tanong naman is lagi bang pareho yung size nito? Yes, kasi pareho silang 45 degrees. Ibig sabihin pareho sila ng lapad sa bandang huli dito, okay? Ng kanilang opposite side. No? Okay. Now, calculate the trigonometric ratios for a 45-degree angle. So, we have sine 45-degree opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite over hypotenuse. Okay, sa previous video na-discuss ko na maayos yung trigonometric ratios. So, pwede nyo i-check out na lang yon sa link, or I mean sa grade 9 mathematics playlist para makita nyo kung paano ko na-discuss yung 6 trigonometric ratios. Okay, so we have opposite over hypotenuse or the acronym for SOH. So we have sine 45 degree equals opposite over hypotenuse. The opposite is 1 over square root of 2. Okay? Is equal to the square root of 2 over 2. So, paano nangyari yan? This is a conjugate or using conjugation. Kaya naging ganon. Teka lang, baka may explanation dito. Okay, wala siyang explanation. So, pag conjugation kasi, halimbawa, yan, that's 1 over square root of 2 at bawal tayong may square root sa denominator. So, ang gagawin natin is we will use conjugation. So, we will use the denominator to multiply in both sides, I mean both parts of the ratio. So, we have 1 times square root of 2 is the square root of 2 over square root of 2 times square root of 2. And actually, that is 2 times 2 is 4. So, we have square root of 4 is 2. Okay, or just simply cancel the what do you call this? The 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 index or the square root sign, and then itira mo na lang yung number sa loob, which is 2. Okay, that's why ganito yung answer niya. Now, for the tangent 45 degrees, tangent 45, that's opposite over adjacent. The opposite is 1 and the adjacent is 1. Therefore, the final answer is equal to 1 because 1 divided 1 is equal to 1. For the second 45 degrees, secant is the opposite of cosecant. I mean cosine. For the cosine, we have adjacent over hypotenuse. For the secant, we have hypotenuse over adjacent. So we have 45 degrees equals, what is hypotenuse? Square root of 2 over adjacent of 45. That's 1. Ito yan, di ba? So we have square root of 2 over 1. That's square root of 2, di ba? Okay, cosine 45 degrees adjacent over hypotenuse. Just like what I've said, this is the opposite, no, of the cosine. So adjacent over hypotenuse, because we have 1 over square root of 2, and that is square root of 2 over 2. So same explanation with sine for 45 degrees. Okay, next is cotangent 45. For the cotangent, same with, ayan, yung cotangent, adjacent over opposite, same lang naman kasi 1, 1. Kahit baligtarin mo yan, ganun pa rin. 1, 1. And finally, for the cosecant, which is the opposite of the sine, which is hypotenuse over opposite. So we have square root of 2 over 2, and that is square root of 2. Okay? So these are now the trigonometric functions for a 45-degree angle. Ito yung mga yan. Now, for geometry of the 60, 30, and 90 triangle, we have considered the equilateral triangle. When you are talking about equilateral triangle, these are triangles that has the same length of each sides. So, 2 ang kanilang length. 2, 2, and 2. And this is an example of 30, 60, and 90 triangle. So the three sides are equal. So the angle are equal. Okay, so this is a 60, 60, 60 triangle, not 30, 60, and 90 triangle. Anyway, the perpendicular bisector of the base bisect the opposite angle. That's create a 30, 60, 90. So, naging 30, 60, 90. 30, 60, and 90. Anyway, 90 degrees naman ang right triangle ang pinag-uusapan natin. So, what is the measurement now of the other side? So, use the Pythagorean theorem. The theorem to define the length of the altitude is square root of 2. So, pwede yung i-try to determine kung ano ang measurement niya. Okay, so consider this one, no? So, paano ba ma-master ang trigonometric function ng triangle? So, una, gawa ka ng equilateral triangle at measure mo siya ng 2, 2, and 2. Then, hatiin mo siya ng sa gitna, and then, yung 2, i-divide mo ng 1 and 1. As we all know, 60 yung bawat side yan. So, since nahati siya sa gitna, magiging 30 yung isa. That's why 60, 30. And then, since nag-form siya ng right triangle, that's become 60, 30, 60, 90. Okay, and then 1 ito. So, paano nakuha yung square root of 3? Yun ang tanong. Okay, so we have the formula b squared equals c squared minus a squared. C squared is the hypotenuse, so that is 2. What is 2 squared? That's 4. Minus 1 squared is equal to 1. And 4 minus 1 is 3. To cancel squared both sides. So, ika-cancel natin. Ayan. That is the square root of 3. Yun na yan. Okay? That's why the opposite of 60 degrees is the square root of 3, the opposite of 30 is 1, and the opposite of 90 degrees is 2, which is the hypotenuse for the 30, 60, 90 triangle. Now, calculate the trigonometric ratio for the 30 degrees angle. So, this is the 30 degrees angle. Let's start with the sine 30 degrees. So, for the sine 30 degrees, we have opposite over hypotenuse. So the opposite is 1 and the hypotenuse is 2. So we have 1 half. For the tangent 30 is opposite over adjacent. The opposite is 1 and the adjacent is square root of 3. Using the conjugation, multiply both sides by square root of 3 over square root of 3. So makuha mo 1 times square root of 3 is square root of 3. And square root of 3 times square root of 3 is equal to 3. Parang katulad lang ng ginawa natin kanina. And then for this one, okay, same. Second 30 is the hypotenuse over adjacent. So it is equal to 2 over square root of 3. It's equal to 2 square root of 3 over 3. So, alam nyo ba kung paano nakuha to? Okay, so using the conjugation, we have 2 over square root of 3. Okay, multiply by the denominator. So, square root of 3 over square root of 3. So, ang gagawin, i-combine lang si 2 times square root of 3. That's 2 square root of 3. This one, pwede ko na lang, 3 times 3 is 9. So, what is square root of 9? 3. That's why ganito yung answer niya. Next, cosine 30, adjacent. What is cosine? Adjacent over hypotenuse. The adjacent square root of 3. The hypotenuse is 2. Dito, hindi mo kailangang gumawa ng conjugation kasi nasa taas naman si square root of 3. For the cotangent 30, adjacent over opposite. So we have square root of 3 over 1 or square root of 3. And finally, for the cosecant 30, hypotenuse over opposite. So we have 2 over 1, which is equal to 2. So these are the trigonometric functions for a 30-degree angle. Okay, if you want to determine the 60 degrees angle, you can try to do the following by following the what do you call this, the position, the opposite over hypotenuse, opposite over adjacent, kung anong position nila, okay, in the trigonometric ratios. Okay, so calculate the trigonometric functions. Okay, so we have another example pala for a separate example for 60 degrees. Anyway, so what is the sine 60 degrees? That is square root of 60 is opposite, square root of 3, adjacent, hypotenuse 2. Correct. How about tangent 60? Opposite, that's square root of 3 over adjacent, that's 1. Next, secant 60. Secant is hypotenuse, that's 2, over adjacent, that's 1. So it's equal to 2. Cosecant 60. Cosecant 60 is adjacent, that's 1. And then hypotenuse, that's 2. So 1 half. Next is cotangent 60. Cotangent is adjacent, which is 1. Then opposite, square root of 3. Using conjugation, you will get square root of 3 over 3. And finally, for the cosecant 60, we have hypotenuse, which is 2. And then opposite, which is square root of 3. Using conjugation, you will get 2 square root of 3 over 3. So that's all about for the topic, trigonometric ratios of special right triangle, 45, 45, 90, 30, 60, 90 with sample trigonometric functions. So with that, thank you very much for your listening.